It's time now for Anderson Speedway's Track Talk. Catch up with everything that's going on at Anderson Speedway with Rick Dawson and Gary Mong.
Good evening. Welcome to Track Talk. Rick Dawson, Gary Mong. We are at the Mounds Mall Special Events Studio on a kind of a solemn day in racing, and we're going to start out our program talking a little bit about Justin Wilson and what happened at Pocono. And a good friend of mine is going to be on the line here in just a second that knew Justin really well. If you don't know, he was tragically killed at Pocono Speedway in an IndyCar Sunday.
Very freaky accident.
It was very strange. Whenever something like that happens, I mean, whether it's a fatality or a serious injury or even a bad wreck, I always, if I know about it, I always look at it if there's film footage and everything, just to see if there's anything that might affect us or whatever. And that one was just tough. And I'm going to have Davey Hamilton here on the line, who at one time was Justin's teammate, to tell us a little bit about it. Davey was doing the radio broadcast for the IRL Sunday, and he can shed a lot more light on that. But it was just one of those situations that's like Fox 59 came out to the Speedway last night to talk to me about it. And really, there's not a whole lot of explanation. The car did what it was supposed to do that wrecked. I mean, they're designed to come apart,
absorb the energy.
To absorb the energy. However, and it's hard to tether every part on a race car, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
And it just so happened, it was just the wrong place at the wrong exact time, and that's what it took. And it hit Justin, but I've come to find out here in the last 24 hours just what kind of an individual he was. I mean, I regret that I never got the chance to meet him, because he's just
gentleman's what I've heard.
Just an extremely great guy, not unlike Dan Weldon was.
Right.
He was dyslexic and had started a center in Indianapolis for dyslexic children, and I was watching the news before I came here, and they were actually interviewing a young man that he had personally taken under his wing.
Kind of tutored a little bit and stuff on it.
And tutored, and this young man just had the biggest outlook on life that ever was. So be anxious to get Davey on the line here in just a second and have him give us his perspective on what happened, and tell us a little bit about Justin. And I understand we've got Davey Hamilton on the line now. Davey, how are you doing this evening, buddy?
Yeah, doing good. Can be in our world, a little shaken up right now, isn't it? So
it sure is.
It is, but we're fortunate that we're in a unique industry where, regardless of the bad times we might have with each other, when something bad happens, we're all one big family, and we bind together, and that's what gets us through it.
It's so true. I mean, it is one big family. It doesn't matter what kind of cars you race, whether it's short track Saturday night or NASCAR, IndyCar, and HRA, Formula One, and we're all tied together for sure. And one thing that we do as race drivers, we race, and that's one thing Justin was a master at. He was obviously, his nickname was Badass, and that's exactly what he was. He was a badass, and he got the job done, man. I was just. For me, I'm very fortunate. I've just been able to know him, and I was teammates with him for a couple of years, and just seeing how good he was, and how much he had a passion for for the sport and his family. I mean, he was a happy guy. I've never seen him. I mean, he's the kindest guy in the pit. I don't think anybody ever had any confrontation with him or any bad words to say about him. He was a swell guy.
Well, I know you were in the tower Sunday. Doing the call on the radio broadcast. From your perspective, I mean, I've watched this, probably 20 or 25 times. It's just one of those things. I think the cars did what they were supposed to. It was just a matter of just being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I'm a believer, man. I believe in God. I believe that when it's your time, because you have a 2.5 mile racetrack. You have 24 race cars on it. Racing around there. There's, we were 7 wide at times there. I mean, there was plenty of room on that track. And if Justin could have been 6 inches any four directions, forward or back or side to side, it wouldn't have been the same scenario. And it was a scenario where the nose hit, exactly square, on his head, and he didn't even have a chance to swerve or move. It was, it just was unfortunate. And will it ever happen again? You just don't know. I mean, it's kind of a one of a million deal. But I will say this is, our sport lately. Remember Hinchcliffe last year got hit at the Grand Prix of Indy with some debris. D'Amata got hit with a deer. I think a deer ran in front of him, but it was head injuries that got into him. Massa got some debris in the Formula One test, I think it was. So, we're not new to this. Whether it's a sprint car or any kind of open cockpit car, you are up for, the disadvantages of sometimes having a protected shield or windshield in front of you, for sure.
Yeah, and I know IndyCar especially, and I know all forms of racing are very intent on safety, but I know IndyCar has always been, at the forefront of safety, and, they tether the wheels and they tether everything. But it's hard to, and I guess it's going to take engineers smarter than me to figure this out. But, they've designed these cars to actually dissipate themselves, when there is an impact. But when you dissipate, that means parts are coming off. The one thing I did notice, and I think this is an attribute to the racetrack, and I watched this very closely too, there were a lot of parts that came off that car, but they all came back onto the racetrack.
Yeah, the key, I think, I'll be straight out on the first thing with what we have. I think Dallara builds the best open cockpit, open wheel car there is. I'm completely sold on the Dallara technology, the engineers, and how Mr. Dallara goes about making these cars. I do feel that, and I think that shows with the hit that we've seen with Charlie Kimball and with Sage and with Marco and the guys that did hit extremely hard, and even like Hinchcliffe. That was just such a huge hit. But the cars really do hold up fantastic. I am not a fan of the body kit at all. Every time we have an accident, there's so much debris. Now, in credit to that, part of the body kit did not hit Justin. It was the actual nose piece. The body kit cleaned off of it. It was a nose piece. So on that particular situation, it didn't really make a difference in this case. But returning to what we do as a sport, I just think, yes, we want the cars to absorb the impact for sure, absorb the energy, so it doesn't go to the driver. But we don't need millions, literally millions of carbon fiber pieces and components and pieces coming off that race car to the racetrack. It takes so long to clean. It's more debris for the cars to go through or swerve around. So I'm not a fan of them whatsoever for the body kit. But like I say, it's a whole different story. It didn't cause anything that happened in Justin's case.
Well, the back to Justin, I know the last thing that he or Dan Weldon or any of these guys that have passed doing what they love would want everybody to just say, hey, we're done, we're going to quit. He wants it to go on even better, and I know a lot of the drivers, and I'm sure you've talked to some of them, are as determined as ever to get out to Sonoma and race this weekend.
And how we do it is we do it in honor of him. We it does take wind out of yourself. And unfortunately, I've been around this game a long time. And when I was very young and just getting started, my friend Billy Vukovic III got killed. And that was my first real experience with a friend, somebody I was really, really close to, getting killed in a race car. And it definitely made me think long and hard about it. But I knew Billy well, and I knew he'd want me to go on. And that's kind of what we do, man. We love this sport. We have a passion for it. We love the people that are in it. They're our friends and family. And when something like this happens, we go on. I mean, it's sad to say sometimes, but it's just the way it is. And I know that Justin would want us to. I know that he would do the same. He lost a good friend in Dan Weldon as well, and he knows how this sport is and moved on. And it's just I'm still in shock. I'll be really honest. I'm still just a little bit of shock of it's actually Justin. The kindest guy in the pit area, the guy that had so much talent, was just unbelievable. That took cars like Dale Coyne's and won races with him. The guy had so much talent. It was just incredible.
Yeah. Well, tell us. I know that there's been some fun set up for his family, and I read an interesting, really moving tweet from Dan Weldon's wife, talking about how the two of them are now together upstairs and how they made their mark here. And tell us how the fans can get involved with Justin's family.
Yeah, and that was actually Dan Wilson's sister that did that tweet out there. So it was Holly and friends of everybody as well. She's super good and still involved with our sport and all of Dan's friends. But yeah, in lieu of flowers or anything, it's the family decided to put it towards Justin's girls, and so there's a trust fund for Justin's daughters that you can send to IndyCar, and with Justin's daughters, in thought and prayer, and any donations can go to them to, try to help them out as a family.
Well, wonderful. Well, Davey, I appreciate you spending the time with us this evening. If you do see the family, please tell them that the Anderson Speedway family is got their back, and we're with them all the way.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I will. And Stefan's, his brother's another good friend and drives a two-seater with us, class guy. And I just seen a tweet today where, Justin just keeps giving. He saved 6 lives today at being an organ donor.
Yes, organ donor, yes.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
So he was that kind of guy and would want it. And I know I can't picture him without a smile on his face. He was just a guy that's going to be sorely missed in our sport. And just unfortunate it happened. But hopefully, I'll tell you this too. The IndyCar Series will do all they can with Delar, the manufacturers, to make these cars as very safe as possible. But we all got to remember, we put fire suits on and helmets on, and we're going 230 miles an hour. So it's definitely not the safest sport. It's not. I don't see Tiger Woods putting a helmet and fire suit on. You know what I mean? So we chose a sport that is dangerous, and it does happen. And but I have to say the people involved do all they can to make it as safe as possible.
Great. Well, Davey, you have a great evening, and I appreciate you spending the time with us this evening.
Yeah, my pleasure, guys. Talk to you.
Thank you.
Davey Hamilton, veteran IndyCar racer, good friend, and a teammate
knows it all too well.
Justin Wilson.
Yes.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we had some great racing last weekend, and we have a big night coming up this Saturday. You're listening to Anderson Speedway's Track Talk.
Heart attack, stroke, serious injury. A sudden health crisis can happen to anyone at any time. So when bad things happen, choose good people. St. Vincent Anderson Regional Hospital has the area's most advanced emergency care, with a state-designated Level 3 trauma center, an internationally accredited chest pain center for heart attack patients, and advanced certification for primary stroke care. We have all the resources to deliver the care you need for any serious or life-threatening emergency. St. Vincent Anderson Regional is the only emergency department in the area with an on-site helicopter. And our $27 million state-of-the-art surgery pavilion opens later this year. Bad things can happen to anyone. Thankfully, good people are ready to help. Choose emergency care from St. Vincent Anderson Regional, the spirit of caring. Visit stvincent.org/Anderson Regional to learn more.
Honey, stop! Oh my gosh, that's Diggity's back there.
You mean the new Diggity's Frozen Treat Factory?
I heard it's unbelievable. Everybody's talking about it. They have everything yummy.
Yeah, I heard they have ice cream, yogurt, custard, sorbet.
And gelato, plus fruit smoothies, and that's just the beginning.
I heard Diggity's has over 250 toppings, not 30 or 40 like those other places, and you can even get the candy to go separately.
We can eat outside on their huge patio by the fire, too.
Okay, let's see. Frozen yogurt, ice cream, custard, sorbet, and gelato with 250 toppings, or a plain old frozen yogurt shop with limited toppings?
Diggity's it is!
Diggity's wants to cater your event. Diggity's can set up at your event inside or out and provide delicious smoothies, frozen cappuccinos, candies, and frozen treats to your guests. Diggity's is perfect for weddings, company picnics, group outings, sporting events, festivals, you name it, just call Diggity's. 765-393-0033 today for more information.
MoFab Incorporated, where imagination is the only limitation. We serve residential, commercial, industrial, and municipal customers as your metals warehouse and fabrication center. We do all types of fabrication using the latest technology with unmatched speed, accuracy, and durability on any substrate. Our ornamental division handles all types of interior and exterior work, including rails, fences, gates, and more. So contact us at mofabbing.com to fabricate your dreams of tomorrow today.
You won't believe these deals? They're too good to be true. You cannot miss this special. We're going to give you so much off, you won't believe it. Actual mileage may vary. Price does not include tax, title, and license. Some assembly required. Batteries not included. Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear. Keep in a cooler place. It is highly unlikely that any sentiments expressed above in any way coincide with those of it.
Wait, what'd they just say? At Auto Farm McCrocklin Ford in Middletown, we're not here to give you fast-talking deals. We take the time to make sure you understand what you're buying to make sure it meets your budget. If you're at Auto Farm McCrocklin Ford in Middletown, you're at the right place.
This program is a presentation by Anderson Speedway. The content contained in this program is that of the host and guests, and not this station.
That's the Ohio Players.
Brick house.
No, roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
What?
We're back. Anderson Speedway's Track Talk. Rick Dawson, Gary Long. We're at the Mount Small Special Events Studio. Yeah. Real quickly, if you ever take anything, I talk a lot, and a lot of it doesn't make sense or is not worth listening to, but take this to the bank. When it's your time, it's your time. When the big guy upstairs decides, and that's why you live each day, one day at a time, and live it to the fullest, folks.
Yes.
Please. All right. Last Saturday night, we had one of the most exciting Grant Fritz Greg Dietzen Memorial races that we've had in years.
A lot of side-by-side racing.
John Robbins, our veteran and champion, set the fast time, and him and Zach Miller and Griffin Brown, and especially John and Zach Miller were putting on a show. And for the first 38 laps, Zach was on his tail, side by side, trying to get around him, and John was running a smooth line, so it wasn't any pinching or anything. It was just good, hard racing. Zach finally got around him, and then a lap car just spun. It got down on the apron, and I think got messed up on the transition, got turn one right in front of the leaders, and Zach was first, and then John ran into the back of Zach, and it ended John's night on his car. It was very disappointing, I know, but Zach was able to get his car restarted. He didn't even go to the pits, so it didn't hurt much. Came back through the field, INEX has a rule that the INEX, which is a sanctioning body for the legend cars, they have a protect the leader rule. So the leader cannot be taken out for whatever reason, gets a spot back. So he got his spot back, took off from the field, and I'll be darned if he didn't come off turn two.
And looked at himself.
Fun.
Yeah, no one around him.
Brought out the caution and had to go to the tail. And I'm telling you what, I stood down the triangle. It's the first time I've been able to do that all year and watch that race.
And that kid came for the
and he was just picking them off one at a time. Set them up, pick them off.
Yes.
And he got back up towards the front, and I'll be darned if he didn't pass Griffin Brown and went on to win the Grant Fritz Greg Dietzen Memorial. And his mom and dad were down Victory Lane, and they were just beaming from ear to ear. And Zach Miller won the race, and it was good to have Carrie Dietzen, Greg's widow, and Larry Fritz was there. Grant's dad to present the trophy. It was good to have them there. But congratulations to him. And we had Zach Miller, Griffin Brown, Adam Sturgill, Gerald Miller, and Dave Osborne. And then real quickly, we've got a special guest on the line from last Saturday night I want to get to. But real quickly, in the street stocks, champion Josh Poor.
But he had to work for it with Tyler Marsh.
Set fast time. But, Dick Warner won the first heat. Austin Russell won the second heat. But Tyler Marsh had a really quick car, but Josh was able to get around him and ended up winning. Josh Poor, Tyler Marsh, and Travis Brown were the top three there. In the fast carts, R.C. Rigdon set fast time. Kenny Smith, Jason Reynolds won the heats, and Kenny Smith in the 98 cart won the feature. In the Thunder Roasters, John Robbins set fast time and won the first heat. Mark Dietzen won the second heat. And in the feature, we had a different winner this week. Marty Griffith, and I believe we've got this young man on the line right now. Marty, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I am, Rick. A young man, huh?
You still on cloud nine? Boy, you were beaming from ear to ear when I seen you down the pits.
Yeah, pretty much.
He beat one of the best.
Tell us a little bit about, we know you won the feature Saturday night, and you've been supporting our track and run these roasters and legends for years out there. Tell us what it's like. I mean, you kind of epitomize what I think is the perfect racer. You come into the pits with a smile, even when there's adversity. I mean, you guys are all back there helping each other, and then when you win, it's even more gratifying. Tell us what it means to you to race there at Anderson and how it goes.
Well, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be about, is having fun, you know, and that's what makes it so much fun. Is all the guys that we race with are good people, and you know, we all help each other, and it's a great track. You guys do a wonderful job up there. I love racing up there, and if it's not fun, it ain't worth doing. So, I mean, that's kind of the way I look at it.
We're slowly building that Thundercar division. I think we had 10 or 11 this Saturday, and I know there's some more out there. Doug Duggar's working very hard on both the Thunder Roasters and Legends. Tell us what your future plans might be, Marty.
Well, hopefully we'll build that series to where we'll have 15 cars out there, and you know, we've got cars for sale. We've got you know, if people are interested in them, we can, you know, help them get started or whatever we need to do to make that happen for them. So it's just a lot of fun to be out there and be around everybody that's, you know, that's out there racing with us. I mean, it's just a good group of guys, and that's the part that, to me, that's fun and makes it worthwhile doing.
I think there's one driver that you may have sold on this is Josh Porer. He ran the Legends and Thunder Roaster Saturday night along with the street stock. So.
Right. Yes, he did. Yes. Yeah.
He did a good job both.
Did a good job. Right.
Yes, he did.
Right.
And Thunder Roasters and Legends are very inexpensive means of racing, relatively speaking, compared to a lot of the divisions we've got now.
Yeah, and that's the thing that, you know, if you want to go out and have fun and not spend a whole bunch of money, they're relatively inexpensive. They're, you know, if you don't tear anything up, you're pretty good to go for the whole year. I mean, there's just not a whole lot there that you need to do. I mean, maybe a couple sets of tires, but it's just not terribly expensive racing, and that's what makes it fun, is that, you know, you can come out there and race and not spend a ton of money.
Yeah. Well, Marty, I appreciate you spending the time with us this evening. You have a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you next time at the racetrack.
I appreciate it, Rick.
Thank you. Marty Griffith,
Marty.
Our champion from last year in the Thunder Roasters. We have a big night coming up Saturday, and you know what? I want to fill the stands, and we're going to do it in honor of the Sesquicentennial of the great city of Anderson, 150 years old this Friday. We want to fill the stands, $5. If you're over 6 years old, it only costs you $5 to get in to watch the races this weekend.
It's a bargain.
We got the McGonigal Engine Performance Late Models, the Markham Welding Pro Compacts, and the Hartz Auto Figure 8s. Going to be some great racing.
Yes.
We're going to have a lot of folks out there. We got a lot of things planned with the city, and the Sesquicentennial Committee is going to be out there. They're having a great week celebrating. I've been to a couple of the events, huge turnouts, and a lot of fun. Been wanting to do this for a long time. $5 a person. Now, you know, that's a lot cheaper than normal, and the same costs are involved in running the racetrack, so we need a lot of people out there to make this work, and I know we will, and we're going to have fun. And real quickly, a week from Sunday, put it on your calendars, pro wrestling at Anderson Speedway, the Barbarian, Bushwhacker, Rakishi, several others out there. You can get advance tickets for $10. They'll be $12 at the gate. Come out to the track and get it. That's a week from Sunday, Labor Day weekend. We're going to have a blast with that coming up. And then, of course, we've got the wing sprints and 100 laps of racing that Saturday night, along with the WOFS Outlaw Figure 8s on Saturday night of Labor Day weekend. So we got a lot of big things planning as we go into the fall season of racing, believe it or not, already.
I want to remind people we open the gates at 5 and race at 8 o'clock Saturday night.
Yes, this Saturday, and same on Labor Day weekend for the Saturday night race.
Right.
I think we start wrestling at 7. We have a big autograph session at 6. And I was hoping to have Nancy Anderson on the line, Let me
got
go
a
off
little bit of
here.
a technical
Here,
difficulty
here.
on that, but
Well.
if you haven't been out to Anderson Speedway yet this summer, folks, you need to come out and see us. It's been great racing all summer long, and like Rick said, for this coming Saturday night, the late models, Markham Welding Pro Compacts, the mechanical engine performance late models, the Markham Welding Pro Compacts, and the Hartz Auto Figure 8 cars, all this Saturday night. Gates open at 5 o'clock, racing at 8. Come out there for a $5 ticket for adults 6 and older and spend the evening with us. It should be a great night of racing and a lot of fun.
I think we may get a couple minutes here with Nancy.
Good.
I better turn my
You
microphone.
better turn your mic on. I can hear you, but no
I
one
think
else
we're going
can.
to get a couple minutes, Nancy. Nancy Anderson has worked tirelessly pardon me, on this Sesquicentennial celebration at a big gala at the airport last Saturday afternoon at lunch. I was fortunate enough to go over at the college in the Commons area there at Decker Hall. There's probably 150 people there, dedicated the memorial plaque in memory of Anderson's Bob Carey. And I understand we've got Nancy on the line right now. Nancy, how are you doing this evening?
I'm great, Rick. Thanks for inviting me to be a part of the show.
Well, it's certainly our honor to have
Yes.
you on. You're a busy lady this week and have been for the past year and a half planning this, and it looks to me like everything's going off just like clockwork.
Yes, it's completely exceeded my expectations, so I'm very pleased. I'm pleased with the weather we've been having, and everything's running pretty smooth. I'm pretty sure of it. The rest of the week's going to go the same.
Well, the dedication Saturday for the Bob Carey plaque was huge, and we kind of kicked off the Sesquicentennial celebration earlier this month with the Bob Carey Memorial Race at the Speedway, which produced the closest finish in Speedway history. And we're going to finish it up this Saturday night with a big celebration at the racetrack. But I know there's a couple other events between now and then. Do you want to tell our fans what they can go do?
Yes. Absolutely. Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., we're going to kick off the first 20 of 150 trees that are going to be planted throughout Anderson. And the first 20 trees are going to be planted along historic 8th Street. Then that evening, we're going to be out at Jackson Park, which is on the west side of Anderson, from 6 to 9 for picnic and praise. So bring a lawn chair, bring a blanket, bring some friends, and it's going to be a really nice celebration of our faith-based community with about 15 different praise groups, bands, liturgical dancing, and you name it. And there's going to be food trucks out there, barbecue, everything, you name it. It's going to be really fun.
Wow. Great.
Thursday night, we're going to have Anderson Community School administrators face off in a silky race. So they're going to be paired with a professional driver, and they're going to make their way around the track for their little celebrity race for the Sesquicentennial. And then we're going to seal up the time capsule. So we've got a number of different groups that are going to represent Anderson, and they're each bringing items for the time capsule. And then that's going to be on permanent display for the next 50 years at City Hall.
I'm thinking maybe a little 500 program might fit in there real well.
Absolutely. And yeah, exactly. We do. We would love to have one of those. Then, and maybe even if you've got a racing flag or something like that, we can include in there as well.
Sure. Then
on Friday night, we are having probably the biggest birthday party in Anderson's history down at Dickman Town Center, and we are going to have 3,000 cupcakes. We're having a cupcake eating contest with Chief Crenshaw and Chief Rogers, and it's going to be a really good time. Zip lines, bounce houses, everything. Yeah.
We got about 10 seconds left here, Nancy. I really appreciate the time and the effort that you've given the city in this celebration. We're having a lot of fun with it. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night, Thursday, and Friday night for the big celebration, and then we'll top it off Saturday night at Anderson Speedway.
Sounds great, Rick. Thanks again.
Thank you, Nancy. We appreciate everybody taking the time to be with us this evening. We'll be back same time, same stations next week. Have a great week, and we'll see you at the track.